Hello, hello. Welcome back. I am back. Another Slay the Gray hobby hangout. I am painting today some Necron Wraiths. And if you're joining me after the fact, I stream every Monday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time. So, you want to catch me live? That's the time. Just shaking some paint right now. So, yeah, tune in Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Time, except for next week, because next week is Christmas, and I will not be streaming on Christmas. Spending some time with the family, doing Christmas things, as one should. Alright, so today, painting a Canoptic Wraith. I have one already painted. I'm doing the Caesarcan Dynasty paint scheme. It's a pretty straightforward scheme. I don't think this will take super long to do. I have two more I need to paint up, and then I'll have a full unit of 3. So I'll be working on that. So I'll be starting with the bases actually, so that the texture paint can dry. So excuse me. I'll be putting on astrogranite debris on the bases. Got this handy scraper or trowel tool for texture paints. It's one of those silly Games Workshop products. It's actually not too bad though. I would, if you use a lot of texture paints, I'd recommend it. It's worthwhile. Better than gumming up your brushes with sand and stuff. And you can kind of spread it around easier than with a brush. So I had marked out some spots on the base where the Wraith's tails touch. I'm going to be gluing, so I'm not going to be putting any paint there. Just going to go spread this around, and I'll set those aside to let it dry while we paint the rest of the Wraiths, and hopefully by the end the Wraiths will be nice, or the bases will be nice and dry, and we can finish up the models all in one sitting. Trying to think ahead here. Just gonna clean off my trowel. Give this paint pot another good shake. And get back at it. If this is your first time seeing anything on this channel, my name is Sam. I am a mini wargamer enthusiast, big Warhammer fan. This channel is devoted to tabletop wargaming, specifically mostly Warhammer 40K, although we branch out to other game systems from time to time. And if that's your kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do battle reports, hobby crafting videos, painting, all sorts of things the like. We're still pretty small at the moment, so any support you can give greatly helps us grow and reach other people. All that good stuff. Liking, commenting, subscribing. So I'm excited to try out this new Wraiths, the new Necron detachment, Canoptic Control, or Canoptic Canaptic something. Well, it's all about wraiths and spiders and scarabs, and cryptex. It's a lot of those characters and buffs. Doomstalkers, reanimators, all that cool, fun Necron stuff. So, gonna actually be trying to get a list together with that detachment for a battle report that will be coming to the channel sometime in the next few weeks, which will be very exciting. A proper 2,000 point game battle report. Haven't had one of those on the channel in a while, so looking forward to that. But in order to do that, I need to finish up some models for my list. And that's partially why I'm painting some wraiths today. Because I have a upcoming due date. Kill two birds with one stone. Alright, so these bases are painted. I'm gonna just set those aside over here to let those dry while we paint the rest. Alright, so this is kind of a speed paint method. I've demonstrated this a couple weeks ago when I painted up some Necron characters. It's a method I learned from Lockie over on Zorpazorp. He has a video all about painting Caesaricon Necron's speed paint style. So that's mostly what this scheme and technique is based off of. And it's great. It's a really fast paint scheme. The models look great. So that's what I've been going with to paint up my Necron army. So I can get it out on the table and play some games. So I'll be starting with Runelord Brass Dry Brush. And I will be using this Army Painter dry brush. Makeup brushes also work very well. Get some paint on there. And a paper towel. It's going to work it into the bristles. Can't talk. The bristles. The bristles, and kind of want it not totally light like you would for normal dry brush, because we're really doing more an overbrush. We still want some of that black detail to show. We're just kind of going from top to bottom. Almost like a zenithal with a dry brush. And I can get those claws. How did I do the claws? Just double checking my scheme here. Ah, yes. Just gonna get the face. Not really worried about being super neat. That's what's great about this paint scheme. You just kind of slap the paint on and go. I'm going to also do a little bit on the belly here. The undersides of some of these claws. And we'll come back around and darken that up. And then I'm just going to get some more paint on my brush. Some more Runelord Brass. Really work it into those bristles. And do the same on Wraith number 2. So you may be wondering why I have 2 Wraiths and not 3. Well, I have a box of them I painted, and I got one more in the Imperium magazine. It's that monthly subscription where they send you some Imperium and Necron models, mostly Space Marines, some AdMech, some Sisters. And I've had these extra Wraiths sitting aside, and with the new 10th edition rule changes for unit sizes, it was not advantageous to run a unit of 4 anymore, so I need to get the rest of the unit painted up, so that's what I'm doing. So I can do a unit of 6 or 2 units of 3. So I thought I'd get these painted up real quick and off of my backlog, which is always a nice thing. Yeah, looks good. Wash off my dry brush. I'll let paint off of there. I got another paper towel off camera. Just kind of working. And I'm gonna skip this song because I don't like it. I'm gonna skip this song too. This one's alright. Keep forgetting to go through my playlist and purging the songs I am absolutely sick of. Maybe I'll do that for the next stream. Alright, dry brush is clean. Paint has dried on the models. Now I'm going to do... let's see here. Yeah. Lead Belcher. And I'm going to grab a bigger brush for that. Bigger brush, Lead Belcher. Yeah, we'll just go with a regular medium layer. That'll do the job. You zoom up the camera just a little bit. Get some Lead Belcher on my palette. A little bit of water. And I'm just going to be painting the spine here. Just going to paint that all out. Lead Belcher. I'm going to also paint Lead Belcher on these inner rings here. We'll darken this all up in a bit. Just gonna get some base colors down. And I'm just kind of slapping this around. Not worrying about being too neat. We got washes coming. It's gonna make things all nice. And then down here we're gonna do on this central belly column here. And then I think also on these extra sharp claws coming out the front. Can do Lead Belcher there. And I think that is all those are all the spots. Yeah. What did I do on the gun? Just trying to remember my scheme. It's been months since I painted these last wraiths. I think we're just gonna do... You know what, I'm gonna come back to that. I think I need to do a dry brush for the gun. A little bit more lead belcher for wraith number 2. A little bit of water. Gotta get paint all over my arm. Alright. So, central spine here. Oops, excuse me. Oh, do I not have chat going? Yeah, I have chat going. One second, just gotta restore my chat here. Okay, we're good. Just double checking. I thought I was disabled. It's an old window. All good there. Alright, and painting the inner rings here on the back. With lead belcher. Not being worried about being neat here. Just getting some base colors down. And then we'll do this inner belly spine. And these 2 front claws. The two-tone metal scheme will be a little bit more apparent once you start adding some washes to this thing. Maybe kind of hard to see the differences right now. Alright. And then for the guns, I will be doing lead belcher dry brush. I'm just going to grab this little guy here. Just do something real basic. Just trying to get some metallic dry brushing down on there. So I'm going to paint over this with a contrast paint. So it's kind of like a slap chop almost, if you're familiar with that painting method. Most of the internet is. Or undershading, another way to call it. Okay. I'm gonna also do a little bit of this dry brushing down these bits on the spine. Just kind of focusing on the outside here to pick some detail out. just to make that contrast paint step a little worthwhile. Oh, and I forgot to get the ruler brass on this other one's tail. Let me quickly fix that. Just gonna flick some brass on his tail there. There we go. Alright, so now that we got the ruler brass down, I think it is time to just go ahead and wash those with the Cryptek Armor Shade. Now, just gotta grab my shade brush and find the Cryptek Armor Shade. There it is. This needs a good shake. All right. So this shade is going to go on the entire backside of the Wraith. Just going to get some on my palette. Mix a little bit of water in with it, just so it flows nicely. And I'm just going to go all the way down the Wraith's backside. For all these panels. This paint scheme is so great. I mean, look how fast I'm painting. It's all dry brushing, quick painting techniques, and yet it looks great. Gonna also do it on the claws. Except for the front ones. Those are special. They're different. We're doing something different with those. Okay. How's that look? Oh, I missed his face. Or its face. I don't know how sentient this thing is. And then we got these little arms holding the... gonna hold the gun. Just paint those real quick. They may or may not be dry brushed, but that's okay. I'll set that one aside. Get some more wash on my palette. Get about 3 brush loads of that, and maybe a brush load of some water. Oh, how could I forget the tail? The little tail piece. There we go. And same deal on Wraith number 2. Just gonna pull that shade down the back of the Wraith. Also trying not to let it pool too much on the flat surfaces, as shades do sometimes. But just trying to let it collect naturally. And then we'll get these claws. These other arms appendages coming out. These two here holding the gun. And the face. There we go. It's coming together. Looking great. Wash off my shade brush. And we'll just let that dry a spell. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to work on the blacks next. Or maybe we'll do the lead belcher next. So for that, I'm going to use Basilicanum Gray contrast paint. Where did I put it? Here it is. It needs a good shake as well. I use those little army painter mixing balls. They help out drastically. So how did I paint these guns? Okay. Gotta refresh myself. So I try to let these mostly air dry if possible. But something I do keep handy is a hair dryer. I'm just gonna air dry these a little bit. Let the wash will dry. And we can continue painting. There we go. I just needed them dry enough so I can handle them and continue working. It may still be a little tacky, so I'm going to try to avoid to touch the shaded areas, but they're just mostly dry. Alright, so Basilicanum Gray contrast paint. I'm going to do this over the front claws. And I think that might actually be it for these guys. Alright, just gonna get a little bit on the palette and put that on these two claws. I'm gonna leave that front sharp one lead belcher for now. I will be shading that, but I'll be doing something a little bit different for that. It's going to get a base coat of Basilicanum on here, just to kind of darken up that lead belcher metal. Basilicanum Gray almost has a purpley hue. We're going to boost that though with some shade. Just gonna put this contrast paint down here though. The initial first pass. Alright. Gonna let that dry a little bit. And then this is already drying. I'm gonna work in some purple into the metal. Using Druchii Violet. Oops. Did not mean to get it on the outer claw there. Let me just quickly wick that away with some water. There we go. So the further you get into this process, the neater you have to get. Before I started off just kind of slapping paint around willy-nilly. But as it comes to life, gotta dial up the detail work a little bit. Which is all good. It's part of the process. There we go. Just focusing on these claw outer housing area. Not getting it on the sharp claw. Get that purple hue in there. Stay. Okay. Alright, so now the next part we're going to do is touch up all the areas I dry brushed with Lead Belcher and other Lead Belcher areas with Black Templar. I have a different one open. No, it's just this one. Black Templar contrast paint. I'm gonna give this one a good shake while we let these washes dry. How do our bases look? Now they're getting there. So here's the Terminator Captain while I shake this paint while we let paint dry. Blah, 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 blah. Can't talk. Here's the Terminator Captain I finished up last week. Here's his base. I don't think I finished the base on stream, but here's what he looks like all complete. I just have to put a couple decals on him still. I'm slowly working my way through the Leviathan Marines. I'm kind of going all out with the highlights and stuff. I'm very excited about the Terminators and how they're turning out. So this is a cool little muzzle flash bit I got from a buddy. So these guys look really cool. I just got to finish up the seals and the scroll work on them, as well as their bases, and they are just about done. They'll be done in no time at all. Alright. I think we are dry enough. Black Templar contrast paint. Just going to get a little bit of that on the palette. A little bit of water. Not too much. Now you can also thin this down with contrast medium, which is great. Because it keeps its contrasty qualities, the way it flows, but it's a little dials down the punch. And I'm just gonna put Lead Belcher. I mean, not Lead Belcher. I'm gonna put Black Templar over all the areas I painted previously with Lead Belcher. And then, if the consistency is right, it is a contrast paint, so you should be pretty much there right out of the pot. You'll see the metallic of the Lead Belcher showing through underneath. So then we're going to also do this on the snake body. As well as the underbelly. This might just kind of all blend together, and that's okay. It's kind of supposed to. Just gonna get all down here. Being sure not to get it on the face, because we still want that to be brass colored. Down here. Now let me just check. Yeah, it looks like the side of this coil needs some more. Or some, I don't know if I got it in the first place. Anywhere where there's just a little bit too much metal showing. Get some more contrast paint on my brush here. Just work that down the serpentine body. And we'll set him aside to dry and do the same with Wraith number 2. Yeah, I think you could easily paint up a unit of these with this method in a single evening. That's what I love about Necrons. They paint so fast. But you can also spend, you know, a good amount of time on them too. Like the Silent King took me a bit to paint. Kind of adapted the same look, but less speed paint methods. More traditional methods. And he does not look out of place at all with the rest of the army. Still looks great. I'm going to do Black Templar on his tail. And the underbelly. Just makes him look like dingy metal. It's great. Metallics and washes. Making sure I got down here. Oh, also he's got these hoses. I'm gonna do those in Black Templar. And then also the gun. I can't forget about the gun. So I'm gonna paint this outer casing Black Templar. We should see some of that dry brushing show through underneath. There you go. Now we just need to let this dry. I will be doing... I'm going to try to sneak in some Nuln Oil wash. Very carefully, not to touch wet paint. But we're going to do some detail on the claws. So I'm going to take some Nuln Oil and get it on these sharp outer claws here. Darken those up. That was a good washing. I try to not leave metal bare when I paint metal. I always try to apply a wash of some sort. It just looks so nice. And I'll wash off my shade brush real good. And these bases are just about dry, so what I'm going to do is hit those with the hair dryer to finish them off. My speed painting hack, the hair dryer. Ah! Oh, there's still some paint pockets under here. Yeah, these just need to sit a little while longer. They're almost there. More air dryer. I just need these dry enough for me to apply some Agrax Earthshake. I'm late! Welcome back, David! Painting up some Necron Wraiths tonight. Trying to time it so I can do the whole thing start to finish in one sitting, so going back and forth between the bases and the wraiths. But doing a lot of similar speed painting style or methods that I was doing a couple weeks ago with those two Necron characters. But just trying to finish up a unit of Wraiths so I can run a unit of 3 along with the 3 I already have. Nice. I played against Necrons this past weekend with a new Tau Force. We had a draw. Nice. You have a Tau Force. New army. Nice. Fun. Do you remember what detachment the Necron player was using? Because I have been looking at the Canaptic. This is really bothering me. I can't remember the name. It's Canaptic. Hang on. Let me check the app. It's the Canaptic. Canaptic Court, I think. Yeah, Canaptic Court. A strong one. I don't recall the name. Did he have areas of power where if he controlled the objectives in the area, so like if you control the one in your deployment zone, you can reroll hit rolls if your unit is in there, or if you're in no man's land, you can reroll hit rolls if you control more than half, or at least half of the objectives, something like that. That's the one I was looking at. And it's got like buffs for Canaptic and Cryptek units. So that's like Scarabs, Wraiths, Doomstalkers, Reanimators, and some Cryptek characters. Nice. The other one that looks pretty fun is the one that lets you teleport all around. With like a monolith. Like keep adding units into reserves. So if you have a lot of warriors and stuff, things that can come out of a monolith, they can just take them away and then they come back. That also looks like a lot of fun. I'm really happy with what they did with Necrons in this edition so far. Haven't played any games with the new codex yet, but really looking forward to it. As I mentioned earlier, working up these guys for a Necron's battle report that we're going to be recording soon, and it'll come up on the channel probably sometime in January. So that'll be fun. I got some cool Necron terrain I 3D printed that I need to paint up for that. He was not teleporting. It was really a familiarization game. Neither of us have played either army before. Yeah. I miss my Blood Angels. The tower fun though. They shoot. They got guns and stuff. I did a tournament towards the end of 9th edition. I think it was maybe in May. I lost all 3 games. But the 3rd game I played was against this guy with a Tau army, and that was our closest game. It was a really good game. But it kind of gave me an appreciation for the Tau. I think they seem pretty fun. Yeah. But yeah, they have some nasty tricks up their sleeves. Okay, I think the shade is mostly dry on these, so I'm gonna do the next highlight with or dry brushing with Canaptic Alloy. He ran the Awakened Dynasty detachment. Okay, so that's the same. I think that's the same one that comes with in the index sheets when that's like the default index detachment. It's not a bad detachment. It's a very good one still. So I would probably still use that too. I noticed that the new codexes, they seem to have they have the index detachment, which is kind of like a good general purpose detachment, and then they have like another good general purpose detachment, and then they have like the really specialized ones, which I think is a good approach, good way of doing it. Like the Tyranid one is pretty fun. There's like the Synaptic Nexus, which is pretty... It's generalized, but more towards Synapse creatures. But it works pretty well for generalists mostly. And then they got like the Vanguard one. The Crusher Stampede, that one's a lot of fun. So the big monsters. Okay, so I'm going to be dry brushing Synaptic Alloy. Just gonna try to pick out some details on some of these raised metallic areas. Not trying to go too heavy with it though. Going from the bottom up on these claws. A little bit on the face. You can kind of see the one with and the one without. It's very subtle. Get some more on my brush. And get these claws. This paint scheme just goes so quickly. I love it. Getting a little sick of painting power armor, to be honest. All the panel edge highlights, it's killing me. So I'm happy to take a little, happy to take a little break and paint some Necrons. I do like that grim darky feel they have. Yeah, they do have a good grim darky feel. They're scary, as Necrons should be. Alright, and then I'm gonna be using I think Stormhole Silver. Just a little bit on the claws. 2 front claws. Heresy! Suffer not the alien to live, as they say. Just gonna get a good dry brush of Stormhole Silver on these. Just gonna go from the bottom up. Maybe Runefang Steel would be another good one to use for this. Stormhole Silver is pretty shiny. Just gonna brighten these up a little bit. Look a little rough. Go. Boom, just like that. Alright, so I think next... Wow, is it really time for the green? The Power Glow? I think it is. Incredible. Let's see here. I think I did this with an airbrush when I painted these guys a while back. Yeah, I feel a little dirty if I haven't played a Xenos army this weekend. First time I've ever played a non-Imperial. Wow. You know, Xenos is where it's at. I'm a Tyranid player at heart. I love me my Tyranids. Necrons have grown on me quite a bit. I really enjoy playing them. And then also the Eldar. Eldar are a lot of fun. I do like Imperium too. I mean, what's not to love about tanks and Space Marines and the Guard? I don't really have a Guard army though, but one day I plan on 3D printing a Krieg army. There's some really cool Krieg proxies out there. So for the green glow, I'm gonna do Administratum Gray. And paint that over all the orbs. Oh no, I got some blue paint on. There we go. Little blue chip stuck there. It came from one of my paint pots. Alright, Administratum Gray. It's pretty light gray. And need a small brush that I can mess up. Smaller brush. This one's pretty. This is in rough shape. This is my dipper. But it's also good for a little tiny dry brush. Oh, actually, I think I have a little tiny dry brush. Now that I think about it. Let's see here. A small dry brush. That is one. Thought I had an even smaller one. I have a jar of brushes over here I'm fumbling through. I do. Although this one looks a little too big. But this is a good one. I will set that aside so I remember I have it. I'm gonna try this one here. We'll see. I'm just gonna build up some light around the sphere. I started with the old Praetorian Guard. Once I discovered Blood Angels, I was hooked. Didn't play another army until 9th. With the Order of the Bloody Rose called to me. Ah, yes. The old Bloody Rose. I have some Adeptus Sororitas in my backlog. And I think when I eventually get to those, I'm going to do Ebon Chalice. No particular reason. Well, I guess the reason is my wife picked out the Novitiates Kill team. And I painted them up for her. So I kind of showed her all the different orders and I said, alright, what order do you want these to be? So she picked Ebon Chalice. I was like, alright, that's what they'll be. I'll paint them up that way. Sometimes choices are arbitrary. I like it. But yeah, Bloody Rose, that sounds appropriate for a Blood Angels player. Just gonna very carefully build up some dry brushing on these little power orbs. So you can use an airbrush for this. I think I used an airbrush my other wraiths that I painted. But if you're patient enough, you can get a similar effect. You're just kind of dry brushing some gray on there. Also, there's these orbs on the side. I think I'm going to do the same treatment there. I just don't want that Tesseract glow to be too intense. So by laying down gray underneath, works really well for that. The little smaller power orbs, I think I'll probably do a lighter gray. maybe even Corax white. But these bigger ones, I just want a little more subtle. I think I missed these ones over here. I was actually giving a Necron army recently. Got to do a lot of painting to make good on the promise to paint up like he wanted. It actually painted his Triarchs in a Gundam palette. Nice. My first grade project was such a bad attempt at your hobby. Avery Cat 123. It's my wife. There's no such thing as a sad attempt at the hobby. Only steps along the journey. That's right. Absolutely. It's a process. He basically had to take them all apart. That's not true. Some of their faces were falling off. But that's fine. They were like 95% there. I just did a little fixing, and you did fine. Absolutely fine. I don't know what a Gundam palette is. I'm not sure what that is either. I assume it's a color palette that you'd see on Gundam. So like, I don't know. Just really saturated colors? Could you elaborate on that, Sigismund? Alright, let's grab the Corax white. It's mostly some blue and red details. And pink for the energy. Ah, okay. I can picture it. Mostly white. Yeah, I've seen some cool white painted Necrons where they do like orange and reds for the energy. Yeah, but white Necrons look really sharp. That's cool. That sounds like fun. And I'm just going to use Corax white for the other energy areas. Anime. I watch a little bit of anime. It's all good. So I'm just going to paint over all these little spots that are going to be green with Corax white. Just trying to be a little subtle with it. Just kind of doing a little white dot. Got these orbs on the side here. Four people watching. Woohoo! Yeah! Oh. They come and go. Oh, I appreciate you tuning in regularly, David. Streaming is kind of new to the channel. Or at least frequent streaming is pretty new, so something I want to try to keep up on. Speaking of which, though, next week, I think, there will be no stream as it will be Christmas. New Year's Day, I don't see why not. Usually nothing's going on for us on New Year's Day, so I'll probably be back then. All right. And then while I have white on the brush, I'm going to kind of remove some of it and just do a very gentle dry brush right in the center with Corax white. Trying to imitate an airbrush effect and kind of build up the brightness just a little bit towards that center there. I hope you and yours have a wonderful Christmas. Do you do Boxing Day? No. That's a Canadian and British thing, right? And from my understand, it's just the day after Christmas where, what, you box everything up? Is that all it is? It's one of those things I've heard mentioned. Yeah, it is. Okay. I don't know. Do people do anything special for Boxing Day? Because we have like Thanksgiving in November, and a lot of companies usually give people the day after Black Friday off. Yeah, just an excuse to have a bank holiday. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes holidays gotta be longer than a day. I should probably have what I'm painting on the camera. There we go. Okay, then we got these going down the side. Yeah, I think with these I'm being a little sloppy. Not worried about being neat here. It's all just a speed paint. It's all about making them look pretty decent. So I can get them on the tabletop. Can't master paint every army. Otherwise, you better just stick with one army. Just do a little bit of a dry brush. Oh. These orbs. Kind of a crazy coincidence. I got all my painting stuff set up and pulled up YouTube to find some painting background and saw the stream and figured it's just about perfect for me. Undercoating. Excellent. Yeah, that's the whole point, you know, where ideally I'd love to do this as a group activity, you know. We all kind of share what we're working on. Talk shop. I can share some of the little techniques I've learned along the way. Not really a pro painter by the stretch, but I think I'm okay. Alright, so for these guns, I gotta paint these. Kind of forgot about them. I'll start with the gray. There might be enough on there on my palette. Ray. Hmm. Hmm. Ministratum, yes. Yeah, I was saying earlier I stream every Monday evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Except for not next week, it's Christmas. Yeah, your work is passable. Personally, I enjoy your painting style, the fact that your stream is enjoying relaxing to watch. And it's perfect for a Monday night. That's what I like to hear. Thank you. Yeah, so I have a couple armies, so try to have something ready to paint every Monday. I've been kind of working on the Leviathan Marines from that launch box. Jumping around to some Necrons. I got some Eldar stuff I need to work on soon. A little bit of Tyranids. Also got some Gene Stealer Cult. I need to get back to some point. Kind of focusing on the new stuff right now. That's got the codex that just came out and some of the new models. Because Gene Stealer Cult, I think, is sometime next summer. So I'll have a few months to get ready for that. That'll be exciting. I think Gene Stealer Cult and Soritas, if I'm not mistaken. So we can both be excited for that release. That'd be cool. Alright, I'm just gonna grab some of that Korax White on my palette and do the old dry brush. That looks alright. What did I do for the back of the gun? Looks like it's just painted green. Probably Warpstone. I think I did a green shade over it too. Warpstone Glow is the color. Going to carefully get the Warpstone Glow. On this back piece here. Yeah, Gene Stealer Cult Sisters and the Redacted. Oh yeah, the Redacted. What do you think it's gonna be? Any good predictions? I'm kind of hoping it's gonna be Emperor's Children. Not Blood Angels. Do Blood Angels get their own codex in this edition? I'm trying to remember how they're doing some of those other chapters. I think they do, yeah? Like Blood Angels, Dark Angels, I don't think Ultramarines are getting a codex because they're kind of part of Space Marines. It like depends on the chapter, right? I know Blood Angels are one of those special chapters. Yeah, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Black Templars, and Death Watch. Oh yeah, those are the more special chapters. I got their. They're not was it? They're not Codex Astartes. They're not Codex compliant chapters. I think is the lore reason, if I'm not mistaken. This. I hate this. When paint gets jammed up in there. Might be able to dig some of that out. And I'm gonna get paint everywhere and make a huge mess. But I found that this stupid deburring tool actually works pretty well. Oh, is that satisfying to watch or what? I gotta be careful not to flick paint on all my nicely painted Space Marines over here. Am I making you nervous? I'm making myself a little nervous. I do like dropper bottles. Dropper bottles are nice. Those two have problems. They get clogged up in the nozzle. And then you're like squeezing it, and then all of a sudden you realize what's happening, and then a ton of paint comes out. I suppose this is pretty annoying too. Oh, but look at that. It's now all the way closed. Beautiful. I've shaken myself a few times doing that maneuver. Yeah, I used to use the X-Acto knife, but I kept on breaking the tip off. And also don't want to shank myself. Alright, I'm gonna grab some fresh water. And wash off my hands real quick. I got a sink right behind me. Right. Fresh water for paint, not for drinking. Okay, I think we're actually very close to finishing these. What time is it? 8:20? Okay. A little bit, it'll probably be a little bit of a shorter stream, but I still gotta finish up the bases, so, yeah, I think we can take these all the way to the finish line tonight. That'll be really cool. Tesseract glow. Super separated. I gotta shake this up real good. I still don't have a vortex mixer. So, Avery, if you're still watching, that would make a great Christmas present if you don't already have something picked out. Wink, wink. Shake, shake, shake. So this is my most favorite part about painting Necrons. The Tesseract flow. Very exciting. Alright. A little bit of water on my shade brush. Gonna put some of this on the palette and thin it just a little bit because it's very intense, very green. Some painting magic time. Here we go. Ooh, so satisfying. Look at that. It's beautiful. This front bit here. The face. And it's cool is if I'm a little sloppy with it, it just looks like object source lighting. This stuff makes a huge mess though. It's hard to get out of the brush. I usually have to shampoo the brushes with that treatment stuff. What is it? Brush cleaner, yeah. Because it just stains them yellow-green. But I remember when the Necrons used to have those cool plastic green tubes. Very iconic look. I kind of liked it. Although the new ones are super cool as well. Overall, I think it's a big upgrade. Speaking of painting magic, Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade. Hide all mistakes. Where would we be without those? Frustrated. That's where I would be. Bit of water. Alright. Oof. Oof. What am I doing? Just recklessly jabbing it in there. Ugh. It's a little bit better. Oh. I don't want to get any Tesseract glow on my new captain. That'd be a shame. Yeah, they had those in the first release run. I hate Necrons back then. Fought against them with my Blood Angels and Necrons. Not knocked down, stand back, Death Company. We get knocked down and stand back up. Yeah, that was a similar experience I had. I think it was like 5th or 6th edition. I was just a kid. But I found this other kid. He had Necrons, so I was like, oh yeah, let's play Warhammer. And I was like, I never played against Necrons before. I got annihilated. Absolutely annihilated. But I remember the cool plastic tubes. And then Necron seemed kind of tame in 9th edition. When I came back to the hobby. I'm glad they feel powerful and strong again. Intense so far. I'm very happy with what they've done. This was the one nice thing I think about the frequent edition changes. As annoying as it is, if something's not terribly good, it might be in a future edition. They can kind of right their wrongs instead of just being stuck with a horrible army for like 6 years. Although I do think they need to slow down. But what do I know? Because if they're sticking to their 3-year cycle, we should get a new Age of Sigmar edition, I think, in the summer. Possibly a new Kill Team edition? Or maybe they're just going to do seasons with Kill Team. I don't know. You guys play Kill Team? I'm a fan. It is quite fun. Got a few Kill Team battle reports on the channel. As well as 40K. Yeah, so by doing the gray first, it's kind of hard to see, but the gray first and then the white, kind of building it up slowly, you get this like not super intense green glow. Here, like this one's pretty much dry. I got a little sloppy down here, but for the most part, I think this looks pretty good. Oh, a lot of chat. I thought the best edition was the one they switched to all D6. Was that 8th edition? Normally I'm fine with it, but too many times now I just start getting all the books and rules and bam, gotta replace one. Yeah. I feel really bad for Imperial Guard players. They got their codex after waiting like 5 years since their last one. And then bam, 10th edition comes out. I have a book for 8th edition Kill Team. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It works pretty well there. It was 3rd edition of the game. I got that box. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kill Team, the new Kill Team. It's great. I say new, it's been out for a few years now. Which is probably going to get a new edition. Which is kind of annoying, but... a little bit of Beltan green on the gun. Back there, I'll let these dry, and while that dries, I will work on the bases. So I did Astro Granite, Agrax Earthshade, and now I'm gonna do Elysian Green, as a dry brush over that. Just using a large base brush for the dry brush. Works pretty well. Can I get this greenish gray dirt look? Pretty simple bases. So what I want to do sometime is one of my armies, when I start a new army one day, is do some really cool elaborate bases. But not like super over the top. I don't know. Sometimes I think I can get a little bit obnoxious. But something a little bit more elaborate than texture paint. Although some of my Eldar stuff, I did put the little grass tufts on them. I think those look pretty nice. So yeah, maybe more of that, or some like basin bits. There's so much stuff you can 3D print now, which is really cool. Alright. And then for the rims of the base, I do Army Painter Field Gray. Great all-around color for neutral, green, earthy tones. Kind of ties all these colors together. Great. Medium base brush. Get some water in there. Unfortunately, field gray doesn't cover super well. So it's going to take a few coats. It's got to be watered down appropriately as well. So Sigismund, you're painting Necrons for your friend, you said. Do you play any other armies? Are you playing Necrons? I guess I think I might have missed some of the details there. Doing a Gundam theme. That's all I know. Alright, I'll let that first base coat dry. While that dries, I will attempt to attach these guns without breaking them. I should be able to just kind of jimmy these in. I think. Maybe. Oh man, I'm struggling. I have too many now. I have a Necron army, but only the Triarchs are gone. Gonna be Gundam themed. I want the Triarchs to stand out different schemes, so I'm doing each with a help from a different mobile suit. That's kind of cool. Kind of like a splash of different colors, like an Eldar army. There we go, got one gun in. Nice. Next one will be Char Zaku Red. I'm not a Gundam aficionado, but I imagine that's a nice, cool red color. Is it like Evangelion unit was Asuka's, the red one? Oh, I broke my model. Oh well, I'll just have to glue it. I like this tester's stuff. A little goopy, but it bonds pretty strong. I use this with a combination of, like, you know, your standard stuff, Tamiya, the Citadel stuff. Oh yeah. That'll bond nicely, and it'll be like it never broke. Not worried at all. Alright, bases are about ready for a second coat, and hopefully after 2 thin coats, I can't do a Duncan impression very good. I dare say this might need a third. Why couldn't I have picked a better color for my bases? And this is a color I use for my Tyranids, my Space Marines, and my Necrons. My other armies I use different rims, but I guess I'm just like glutton for punishment. I just have to say to the world to do a good Duncan impression. I think that's what you said. Chat's a little clipped. I think you just have to say the words to do a good Duncan impression. Ah, yes. That's true. He's a little deadpan. I say that in all the best ways. We would all be lost without him. Base coat is on, and this one's still a little wet, so we're just going to let that dry a little bit. I'm still planning out the Necrons proper, though. It's a bunch of warriors already painted, based with a beach theme with water effects, so I'm going to let them stay as is. That sounds very ambitious. That sounds really cool too, though. It makes sense with the the Gundam color palette, kind of like that Japan ocean vibe. That's very cool. So this is, while we wait for the paint to dry, we can look at the finished Terminator Captain that I painted the last 2 streams. I can't remember if I did the base on camera or not. If not, this is the finished product. I still need to put some decals along with all these guys too, but pretty happy with how this one turned out. Some of the unpainted ones are going into a little trays in forest base, and this acquisition phalanx from Infinite and Divine. Awesome. Infinite and Divine I have not gone through yet. It is on my Audible listen list. I'm kind of going through the Horus Heresy stuff. I'm like on book 29, 28, I think. The Vengeful Spirit, I think it's the one I'm on. But I've been kind of bouncing between those and some of the 40K. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Infinite and Divine. I've heard good things about it. Also, the I think it's the Twice Dead King, Ruin and Reign. Those 2 books, also in my backlog. Gonna get to those. It's like the perfect thing to listen to while you're painting. If I'm not streaming, that is. I like that power weapon effect there. Thank you. I also did another one. I think this one turned out a little bit better. On my Terminator Captain. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. It's kind of got like lightning. It's very similar, but I think this the blue tones, I like these ones better than his. I don't know, they're kind of different. This one's more like royal blue, and this one's more like teal blue. Trying different things. This one I'm especially proud of. Buddy gave me the muzzle flash, so I made the chain gun look like it's super hot. I usually don't do this kind of thing with weapons. But I thought I'd give it a shot. Took a long time blending those oranges to get the right shade. Alright, so these bases are dry enough, and I think next I just gotta glue these together. Nice, thank you. Yeah, my Space Marines are taking a very long time to paint. That's why I'm switching it up and going back to my Necrons, which is this nice speed paint method. Just gonna scrape away some of this primer so that the plastic glue can do its job. Here's my little sprue thing. Just make sure I scrape away all the primer that got on here as well. Gotta score this plastic so we can get a nice strong bond. You're further along now. I've only got 2 of my Leviathan boys in blue. Nice. Yeah, I started with the Tyranids. And then the Space Marines set. And I bought the Tyranids half off of a friend of mine too, so I have a whole other Tyranids half I need to paint too. But I figured it's been long enough, I should probably get to those Space Marines. Yeah, it's impossible to keep up on everything. Unless, like, it's your full-time job. Which YouTube is not my full-time job. I think it's just like another extension of... the Warhammer hobby. I think I need more glue. Gotta get through all the characters and just speed through my line troops. Yeah. Well, I'm seeing the end of the tunnel. I mean, just gotta get the Stern Guard Veterans, the Apothecary, Lieutenant, and the Dreadnought done. I'll be about halfway done once I finish up those Terminators. I gotta do a Catacomb Command Barge next for these Necrons. And then I think I'll have my Canaptic Court 2,000 point list ready for the next battle report we're going to do on the channel. Sometime in January that'll come out. So that'll be fun and exciting. If you like battle reports, we do those on the channel, along with other painting and hobby videos. Upgraded some of our equipment recently, so trying my hand at a little bit more video editing, so just trying to level things up a bit, help the channel grow. Alright, so I think we'll just let these sit. And there we go. We got the 2 Canaptic Wraiths. Nice little speed paint. Nothing too fancy. Nothing too not fancy either. Good enough. That'll do. All those good things. Now I got another unit of 3 I can run. Where I just had the 4. So I'm super excited to have these done. They look fantastic. Now I want to chew them up with some chain swords. Yeah. Filthy Xenos. I love it. Alright, everybody. I think we're going to end it here. Just under 2 hours. I will not be back Monday because Monday is Christmas. So we're taking a break that week. I will probably be back on New Year's Day. I believe that's on a Monday, and that's usually not a busy time for me. So why not? I'll probably stream that evening, and then every Monday since, or after that, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Merry Christmas. We'll see you in the new year. Yes. Merry Christmas, and hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, and a happy Boxing Day. All that good stuff. Yeah. So we're gonna leave it at that with these wraiths done. And I don't know what I'll be painting on the New Year's. Maybe I'll go back to Space Marines. Maybe I'll do a character or something. I'll figure it out, but we'll see. All right, peace.